Hello, everybody. This is Solo TV 84 with your host, Solomon Jones. Fellas, what's up? Dabs, please subscribe. Ladies, hugs, kisses, and butt rubs, please subscribe. I got a special guest here today, the OG Blackram313, one of the people that I look up to in this YouTube world. Blackram, how you feeling today, sir?
I'm good. Blackram313, also known as Black Ram for Vengeance, also known as Black Ram the Hebrew, and Black Ram Ib Moore.
There we go. There we go. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this, interview or joint conversation. I know we busy as men nowadays, but I appreciate you coming through and blessing my viewers as well as your viewers. Well, most of my viewers are actually your viewers. So before we get into this video topic, though, how did you get started doing YouTube videos? What inspired you or motivated you to start putting out content on the internet world there?
Well, one day I was just scrolling through YouTube and I came across some content, people like Barbarossa and Stardust, and I was impressed with them. But then I ran across a man named The Last Crucible, and he put out excellent videos. And then I ran across a guy named Addy Going Force, and these were my peers, my brothers. And what they had to say was so important and so motivating and uplifting, I decided I wanted to throw my hat into the circle. So I blame primarily The Last Crucible, whose name now is Sir Crucible, and Adigun Forest for inspiring me to get into making content. I had a lot on my mind, a lot I wanted to say, but they gave me the courage and the motivation to jump on in there with them.
All right, now Blackram313, your videos, I like to call them deadly ether. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm a little bit more direct and abrasive with my videos. You are a little bit more intellectual, but your videos cut through like a Jinsu knife. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, I'm a nerd. I'm gonna keep it real. You don't have to raise your voice to make a point. You know what I'm saying? Right. And some of your videos have caused controversy, obviously. Mm-hmm. And also backlash. I mean, you've heard it in the comments, just like I've seen it. You're a misogynist. You are angry. You you self-hate yourself when you talk about black women. I mean, I've seen the comments. You've seen them too as well. And we were discussing this earlier a little bit. What are your thoughts to these? I don't want to say haters, but these people that obviously don't like your content, that you're a misogynist or a woman hater or things like that?
Well, when you look at the condition of a people, primarily black folk, because I am a black man and this is my experiences, I can't speak from the European perspective at all. But when you see a community that has been decimated and destroyed by feminism, by matriarchy, our communities are on fire. And how could one who cares about black people stand by silently and not address the issues pertinent to black people? And one of those issues that's pertinent to black people, one thing that we have to look at and recognize, is the destruction of our race at not only the hands of white supremacy, but at the hands of the black female who has been liberated by white society to be nothing more than a murderous, abortion-having whore. Who can stand by, silent, and watch these things take place? So of course I'm radical. Of course I'm going to be misogynistic. Of course I'm going to yell. Of course I'm going to do this with passion. Why? Because I love these people, because they are my people. And until we start addressing these issues, instead of sweeping them under the rug and the black woman is God and rubbing her and coaxing her, letting her think that her behavior is acceptable, until we call her out, we're going to continue to have these problems. So yes, I'm always on fire when it comes to the issues of our people, as any man should be who gives a damn. And I am one who gives them. I do this out of the love, actually, of the Black woman. Because where is love? Someone that can tell you that your dysfunction and your bad behavior is okay and give you a pat on the back, or someone who say, you know what, you need to sit the fuck down and stop doing what you're doing because you're destroying yourself and everybody else. That's love.
All right, all right. I like that. Now, Blackram313, today's topic is called The Value of a Man, where we're going to talk about men putting the onus on themselves to put themselves first on a pedestal.
Yes.
We live in a society today, let's be honest, that caters to the female, the feminine nature. With, you know, society nowadays, with the Go Girl movement, I'm pretty sure you've seen that. Feminism, basically trying to empower women that they are equal to men, or in some cases even better now. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, masculinity with this newer generation has been watered down. I mean, scientifically, it's been proven men of this generation have the lowest testosterone compared to 100 years ago from our forefathers, which shouldn't be the case if you look at the knowledge in terms of diet, lifestyle, and all of that. But the point I'm trying to make is nowadays men have been discarded, and we're looked at as we're just looked at as an item to cater to the feminine imperative, so to speak, the feminist imperative. And men nowadays, we live in a politically correct culture, which I call bullshit culture, that basically saying that women are just as good as men or better, when that's not always been the case. And I don't say that from a chauvinistic standpoint, but I say from a standpoint of reality. Where do we go as men from here, especially with the younger generation that are being taught that you should worship women and put a woman before yourself?
With so many lies in the world, there has to be some who stand for truth. I do, as well as my Ibmore brothers. We stand for Black male masculinity, uncompromising Black male masculinity. When you look at men today with their pants sagging down and this whole feminist or feminine attitude that they have because they've been raised by their mama. In fact, they act just as impulsive as their mothers, which is one of the reasons why we see so much emulating the female form, who is impulsive, who is confused, who is the weaker vessel, and so on and so forth. So someone has to stand and let Black males know that not only is it okay to be masculine, but you should be, because this is the order, and this is the way that the Most High created male and female. Someone has to dominate, someone has to lead, and that should be none other than the man, the Black man. So we are fighting against this feministic ideology, or the whole idea that male and female are equals. You know, the woman is not equal to you in any way. If you really sit down and think about it and do the research, she's not, of course, is not as strong as a man. She's not as wise as a man. She's not as intelligent as a man. She's not resourceful as a man. In fact, everything that a woman has, is because of male creativity and ingenuity. So it's quite natural for the male to be on top of the female, both literally and figuratively. And what we see in the world today, in American Western culture, is an introduction to the opposites. So when the male should be leading, he's the one following. And when a female leads, she's going to lead you to destruction because of her impulsivity, because of her superficiality, because of her lack of self-discipline, because she lacks wisdom, because she lacks knowledge and understanding. So when the female is the head, and of course we know that this is done in part by white supremacy to put the female ahead of the male. When things are out of order, of course, all you're going to have is chaos. And this is the primary reason, other than white supremacy, is why our communities are in such bad shape as they are. So somebody has to stand for this masculinity and this manhood. And this is what people like myself are trying to do. We are trying to be the voice of reason in a world of confusion. We're trying to restore something here at the ground level. It's not about fame or fortune or being popular. At the ground level, we want to be a voice at Ibmore and many other men like us, the voice for men to stand and be strong and be confident in being a masculine male.
Okay. Now, Black Ram, you know, I gotta play devil's advocate here for a second, just because, for the sake of conversation. A woman might listen to this and say, Black Ram, you're wrong. You came from a black woman or a woman that gave birth to you. You say that women aren't creative, but women are the reason that men are inspired to do the things that they do. If you look at a woman might, and once again, I'm just being devil's advocate. A woman might say, if you look at some of these wars that have been that have occurred over time, it's because of women. If you look at some of the things that have been done over time, it's because man has been inspired by a woman. You don't give women enough credit. What do you say to those people that say that man is inspired to do these things because of women, and if it wasn't for women, men wouldn't be doing half of the things that we do now?
Well, that sentiment bears some truth in it. Men are inspired by women. Just like a man would be inspired to go to work or even go to work to preserve not only his life, but the life of his progeny, which would include his wife. So yes, women can inspire, but that should be the limit. Inspiration, not leadership. So the woman does have an integral part in society, and most of that part, which we often look down at. But here's the thing. There's nothing for a woman being at home and bearing children and supporting her husband. Feminism will lie and say her role is to compete against you. A house divided against itself cannot stand.
That's right.
So the female shouldn't be in competition against the man. She should be along with the man, supporting his vision and his dream, because the Most High has given man vision. He's given him the creativity. Now, this is what I realize. Women are emotional. Men are logical. There's nothing wrong with being logical. There's nothing wrong with being emotional. So this is how I see things happen in a practical sense. As a man, as a master builder, I set the template on how the house can be constructed. I'm thinking about the foundation. I'm thinking about the walls. I'm thinking about the integrity of the structure. I'm thinking about the practical and the logistical. What the female can do after that is, once the walls are built and put up, she can come in with her emotions and color the logic. So I built the structure, right? But she can make it beautiful. That's her role. So she wants a certain amount of certain type of drapery. She wants a certain amount of color. That's her role. So she can beautify the place. But we have to understand what the priority is at. The priority is making the foundation strong. Now, the surface stuff has a part to play, but it's still surface. But once the foundation is built, then the woman can come in and beautify the place. And this is what she has done throughout the ages. This is her role in society, to color it with her emotions, to color it with her feelings. And there's nothing wrong with this, but she has to play her acceptable role. Now, she can't come in and try to tear down the foundation. That's when she needs to be put in her place. So yes, the male and the female go together, not as equals, but the female builds upon the foundation that the man has set, and that's divine order.
Powerful. All right. Now, Black Ram, we talked earlier about, you know, some of each other's YouTube history. And you mentioned one of your most controversial, and I got to touch on this. You know I'm going to touch on this. Women are nasty. Listen, I'm not trying to get off tangent, but yes, some women will do some nasty things, but I know that's not what you were talking about. But in the video, and I watched it, you know, about a year ago or so. I know you got some people who took the video and then they remixed it, you know, put some the footage on it and whatnot.
From GMS.
Yep.
Brother from GMS did that. He
Yep.
virtualized that. So.
Yep. GMS Shah, AMF. In the video, you mentioned something that actually I made a video about today, so we got to touch on it. If a woman's sexual past matters, and Blackram313, I'm gonna tell you something, and I know I'm gonna ramble on, but I need to tell you this and then let you process it, because I know you can relate to this. I've met women, Blackram313, through my life at different stages in my life that have been with different sexual partners. For example, when I was 16, I met a 15-year-old. Mind you, I was 16 at the time. She was 15. She had already been with 15 men.
Wow.
Fast forward, I'm 21 years old. I meet a chick. She's about 25. She had been with 50 partners at that time.
Wow.
Now, Ram, you got to understand, you're probably wondering, these women, why would they tell me this? You got to understand, one thing that I learned early on about women, even when I used to be a quote-unquote simp, is that when you approach a woman, right, without judgment, where the woman feels like she can be open and honest with you, a lot of women arrogantly will do so. You know what I'm saying? They will be honest with you. If you don't, what's the word? The word now is slut shame or sham her, right? If you don't do that, women will be honest. Fast forward, when I'm 29, I meet a woman. She admits she's been with 100 men. She used to be a stripper. Now, mind you, at this point, my penis is going soft. Now, some people will say, Blackram313, these cases I'm mentioning, oh, Solo, you're just being delusional because you're just meeting whores, whoop-de-woo. But this is actually, this is not my experience, but also having talked to other men. My question is, the sexual partners that a lot of women have, what do you think? Is it because of social media? Is it because feminism? Is it all of the above? What are your thoughts on women who have amassed 20, 30, or even hundreds of sexual partners, and the ramification that it entails in their future to be able to pair bond, meaning being intimate with another man, being affectionate with a man? Because like you and I discussed before, a lot of these women, spiritually, the implication are they become jaded and bitter, and they don't have that ability to pair bond.
Well, I think the cause is all of the above with feminism and social media. I take the approach when it comes to female nature that women are children. And what are children? A child pretty much has a blank slate, but at the same, which they're moldable. And I believe that a woman can be moldable. And one of the reasons why women are whores in this society is because society promotes whoredom. But women are like children. So it's a child's nature to want to forego dinner and eat the cake and the candy and the cookies. That's the child's nature. In fact, knowing that child's behavior must be regulated, because you cannot depend on the child to make the best decision, the rational decision to eat your baked chicken and eat the vegetables and then have a little dessert. No, the kid wants all the cake and the ice cream and skip the vegetables. So that's the child's nature. That's what, and it will be no surprise if you give a child that option, which one they're going to go for. Likewise, women are naturally whores. It's biological. They're set up to seek out the best male for them. And in hypergamy and with Briffault's law, they meet one male, and if it's possible they can find a better male, they're going to go for it. So this nature of the female must be regulated. See, your society crashes and rises based upon this. You cannot build a nation, a strong nation of individuals on the backs of whores. So since the female nature is much like a child, and she's going to always more than likely choose to go for the short term, choose the instant gratification, no matter how detrimental it is. Like the kid is going to go for the cake instead of the vegetables. You must set up a system or a means of control to regulate that dysfunctional behavior, because the kid doesn't know better. And guess what? The female doesn't know any better. She's just acting off emotion and impulse. So we're surprised when we see a woman who's fucked 60, 70, 80 men. Well, society lets her go off of her impulses. Of course she's going to make the irrational choice, because listen, the female is an inferior being. A hoe without instruction is headed for destruction. I'm going to say it again. A hoe without instruction is going straight for self-destruction. So she must be instructed and guided, because she doesn't know what's good for her. You notice women never pick men based off character. It's always the superficial. Oh, girl, he's tall. Oh, girl, he got money. Oh, girl, his hair is long. Oh, girl, he got this and he got that. Have you ever heard a woman talk about a man's innate character, something that lasts? Never. And if they do talk about his character, you know what they say? Oh, he's nice. Is that all you have to say about the mind, the personality of a man? So women can't even appreciate what it is to be a man, to be a leader, and to have character. And this is fine, because that's not necessarily the important thing. They have to be regulated. Now, when it comes to the ramifications of female whoredom, particularly black female whoredom, in this life, Solo, you cannot make choices without consequences. And some of these consequences are immediate, and some of these consequences show up later. So what we have here is a female who has been empowered by the society to be libertine, to seek out sexual experiences until she finds the one. You can sleep with this man and that man until you find the one that best suits you. The funny thing, women always talk about dick size, right? And women want big dicks, right? Well, when a woman says she wants a big dick, it is the expression of her boredom. The only reason why she wants a big dick is because she had so many. That's why you want a big dick. If you only been with one man, you don't have the comparison to make. So by default, you are a fucking whore. Now, back to the ramifications. There are spiritual and mental and physical ramifications for that. And I've talked about this at length on my channel, so just a brief synopsis. On the physical, there is a thing called microcameralism, which the ejaculate of the male enters after so much time into the female brain. In other words, the DNA is bonding with this woman. Now let's think about this for a minute. I think you touched on this in your video about single motherhood. When a woman is pregnant, because a lot of us deal with single moms because there's so many of them. Now think about this for a minute. You have a man, his nut, and this female, and his DNA is inside her and growing in her and becoming a part of her physically. And this DNA replication, this reproduction that's happening on the inside of her body is completely taking over her mind and body. This begins with the seed of that particular male. So her body is hijacked for the purpose of reproduction, to birth this man's child, to come up with this man's legacy, to his progeny, to increase his livelihood, to increase his genetics over the millennia. That's the purpose. So her body becomes 100% about the business of taking his sperm and merging it with her DNA in her body. And her body is destroyed by this. And not only when she has the child, that DNA will always be in her, and it will affect her mentally as well. So then we see that the man, even if he's a bad man, even if he's a horrible man, you see women start to reflect the habits of the men that she's been with, whether it's the bad behavior or not. So she's affected mentally, because what women have, they have an antenna. They are receivers. The vagina is a receiver, okay? The penis is the input. So she's getting physical input from him, and she's getting mental input from him. And also this leads to the spiritual. So when a woman is dealing with a man, she literally becomes, well, not literally, but in a figurative sense, becomes that man. And it is reflected. Now, here's the thing. Every man has his own vibration. Every man has his own wavelength, right?
Right.
And that's not to be mixed with another man, right? So she becomes one with the first man she's been with. She becomes one with the second man she's been with, 4th, 5th, to the 50th, to the 60th, to the 100th. Now, she has all of these different spirits in her. Now, how in the world is she able to maintain psychological control or mental control over her own self when she has been involved and taken on the spirit of these multiple men over multiple years? Then when we see black women, we wonder, why are they so angry? Why are they so bitter? Why are they so crazy? Because the female body is not built to take on all of these influences, all of these masculine energies. And that is that we go back and say, yeah, well, black women are crazy. Well, of course they're crazy, because whoredom has a consequence. Do you know of a functioning prostitute? Listen, I always say this: show me a woman who has slept with multiple men that's very promiscuous, and I'll show you a woman who's fucking crazy. I can show you a woman whose life is in shambles. I guarantee you, a promiscuous woman, I guarantee you her credit is fucked up. I guarantee you that her house is nasty if she has one. I guarantee you that her car is nasty. I guarantee you her bank account is low. Because the body is not designed for the female to take on so many influences.
Amen.
So we see all of this dysfunction. And Amen. This is a consequence. Now the feminized world says there is no consequence. Well, that's foolish. Every action has a reaction. Every choice has a consequence. So this is why we see the dysfunction. And here go the thing: don't slut shame. In other words, don't call these women out on their whoredom, but it's detrimental. And no man who values himself will wife up a single mother that's a fucking skank.
Now hold on, Black Ram.
Restore the value.
Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off. Hold on. But you know what? Once again, I gotta play devil's advocate because I'm we talking. So I gotta put you on an uncomfortable spot sometimes. I know what I think, but this is what they think, and you know who they are. Mm-hmm. I've seen in my single mother videos, and I know you probably have as well, women or manginas or simps, as we call them, rationalize that it takes a real man to raise another man's child.
Yes, sir. Well, one thing where we understand is that a woman will always promote her own self-interest. And what are her tactics to promote her self-interest? She takes advantage of her primary tool, which is shaming language. So she wants to define what a real man is. A female doesn't have the power, the capacity, the ability to define manhood. Men define what men are, and also men define what women are. You know why? Because the Most High created the female for the male. She's given to you to serve you, not for you to serve her. Very, very, very simple. Very simple. So having said that, understanding that the woman is for the man, then from that point, everything else can flow. So let me make this point. So she uses shaming language as her primary tool to promote her own self-interest. And what we do as men, we concede. Talking like women, talking about what a real man does, what a real man should do. Now, how about this? If it's a real man takes care of another man's children, let's look about how gross that is. So it's my job to ensure the livelihood, and oversee the rearing and raising of another man's seed. So another man has busted nut in this whore, and now I am to raise his children, who's going to reproduce his genetic legacy. So my job is to ensure another man's genetic legacy. You know how much of it sounds like for a man to want to ensure the survival of another man's genetic legacy? Why don't you cut out the middle man and go suck? So only a weak male, only a bitch nigga will take care of another man's children. And here go the thing: if you got a woman, a woman is supposed to be a man's servant, right? Now, how can a woman be about your business, right? How can she be about your business if she is about the business of rearing another man's seed? How can she serve me in my interest and my vision, my goals and my dreams, when her primary function is to ensure the genetic legacy of the man that she previously slept with? That's a conflict of interest. So I'm going to say this. As the feminized female would say, a real man takes care of another man's children. I'm going to say a real man does not take care of another man's children. That's the responsibility of that woman or that man. And if you have to get with a woman that has children, well, make sure she raises those children and are done, and those children are adults and go about her business. Other than that, this may sound extreme. If a woman has small children and you want to deal with it, guess what she should do? She should give those children away to the father. Maybe go visit them on the weekend if that's what the man desires. But give those children away. But even then, you're still shortchanging yourself. So unless those children are adult, or give away those children, a man shouldn't have much more to do with a woman other than sex, hanging out, or whatever. Until she's done rearing another man's legacy, then that should be her only role. Because how can she serve you? The scripture said you can't serve two masters. So she can't be about the business of raising another man's seed and about your business at the same time. That is counterproductive, counterintuitive, and just plain lame as hell, bro.
Okay, all right. Now, Blackram313, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, you made a video recently called Minimalist, Less is More, I believe is the title. And in the video, you were talking about how we have been hoodwinked to believe that more is better, when that's not necessarily the case. You know, we're taught in society to keep up with the quote unquote Joneses, and the lion is very busy on this earth, and you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
He's very busy deceiving people on this earth. Now, a lot of men are being brainwashed. I'm sorry, I just got to keep it real. A lot of men are being brainwashed to believe that to get a woman's affection, you need to open up your wallet and get the trick, and you need to take her to nice restaurants. You need to treat her like a queen, and this and that. A lot of men's value, and since we're talking about this topic, they believe that their value comes from how much money or guap, as they say in the hood, they got, the nice rims they got on their car, the Jordans they got on their feet, the baddest bitch that they, excuse my language, but the baddest female they got on their arm. Everything is narcissistic validation seeking. The value as a man, when I look at it, most happy is when I've been connected with my higher self, spiritually. However, this topic is not something that is discussed in the media, of course, because everybody, once again, the media is hoodwinking everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's a young man right now, Blackram, watching this video for the first time, okay? He's probably never heard of Red Pill, Mangina, or Simps before, and he's struggling to find out what his path is as a man. What would you say to a young man who's been lied to all of his life? Because I know you've been lied to, just as I've been lied to believe as a man, especially a black man, that the only self-worth we have is how much money we have and how we ballin'.
Right. Well, I would start by saying that every man is a king. Now, it may sound like that's just blowing smoke up somebody's tail and just using kind words to uplift a man. But let's really examine what a king is. And let's see how each individual man fits in this role. So I'm going to say again, every man with knowledge of self and his creator is a king. So let's look at what kings have. Kings have a kingdom. Okay. A king has an economy. A king has subjects and servants. Okay. A king has a military. Goals and pursuits. It's more land or to expand his territory. Now, in the house, his servant should be his wife. His economy may be his job or his business. His military should be his personal protection, whether you are MMA or like myself, I used to box a little bit, or if you're just a guy who knows how to use a weapon. So there's not much difference when we look at it, when we shrink it down to scale, a man that's a king with a whole nation versus a man who's a king with just his wife and his children. So we have the same interest because it's the same thing. So as a man and as a king, you decide what your kingdom consists of, other than the basics. As a king, you decide what the rules should be. As a king, you decide the boundaries. As a king, you decide your expectations from others. You set the rules. You dictate the pace. You run the show. This is what a man is, a king. And once we realize that, then we have to value ourselves. And if you are a man who's introspective, if you're a man who's goal-oriented, I'm not talking about the material, but of course we do have to work and take care of ourselves. But you're a man that's goal-oriented. You want to improve on yourself. You want to give to others.
Right.
You want to build an economy, whether that's your own business or working and saving up to do something different. Well, then that female is directly benefiting from that. And she should be happy to serve. But it shouldn't be for free. Because as a king, you should have an exclusive club. Nations. When you're in a nation, whether it's America or anywhere else, they have rules and expectations of its citizens. Likewise, a man should have an expectation of his woman. You can't just bring pussy in and expect to get what a man offers. And let's look at that for a second. What does a man offer a woman? What is the value of a man? What does he offer a female? A real man, to use that word, has vision. So let me just use myself. And I don't sure boastful, but let's just look at this for a second. Right? I'm a man who sees certain things. Not bragging or boasting, it's just a thing, a fact. I see an economy that's failing. I see a world that's ending. So in expectation of that, what do I have to offer a woman? Well, here go my goal that a woman needs to link herself up with. I would like to develop an off-grid community with self-sustainability. That is planting food and having livestock and generating power, so on and so forth. A freedom that's there. A freedom away from the rest of society. And I'm a man who can provide a woman with knowledge, wisdom of not only the Most High, but even of herself, guidance, and protection. Something that she can't get on her own. Every woman who doesn't have this, a covering from a male, is lost. So I'm a king that's providing a kingdom for the woman. All she has to do is obey and submit and come under the guidance. And what I expect for exchange for that is everything from her. More than able to come to the table because I am a king. And I hear the men like you, Solo, and men who are hearing our voices and other men who listen to these channels. Intellect. We have the wisdom. Own world and develop our own kingdoms. Blue pill pussy beggars. We're not simps and manginas who bend, stand. It was uncompromising. Offer. She come on her knees. And once we understand ourselves and look at ourselves that way, then we can expect, hey, I'm not going to deal with a single mother. Unless those kids are grown, she gives those kids away. I'm not going to deal with an obese woman. I'm not going to allow that in my kingdom. I'm not going to deal with a woman who slept with 100 men, who's superficial and materialistic. Because those are not my values. Now think about everybody in the world, Solo. What everybody does, they seek after riches and vagina. And when you get these riches and you spend your life getting these, trying to accumulate these things, and when you get them, you're not happy, or either you don't even attain these things. And what's the value of that? Well, we should be unique men. I choose not to go for the material. I choose to go for the independence. my society. I choose to divorce myself from and go another way. Now, vision that would improve her life. If not, that's fine. Continue to run a rat race, promote this consumeristic economy, continue to search for happiness in all the wrong places and never find it. But I seek what's spiritual. I seek the Most High. I seek independence. Now, how great? I'm not saying that every man should do that. But whatever it is about you, Solo, or another man that makes you unique, that whatever vision you have, whatever goal you have, that's your strength. Whatever passion you have, that's your strength. And women can do nothing without men. Women are a blank slate that needs to be wrote on. And either you as a man are going to write on that slate, or society is going to write on that slate. And society doesn't have our best interests in mind. I can ramble on and on all day about this, but I think.
All right. Now, Ram, you there? One of your videos recently is why I no longer talk to women. And it's funny because the video resonates with me because you know, it's funny, you and I, you know, it's funny because sometimes I make videos, right? Mm-hmm. And some people in the comment section say, oh, you should check out Blackram313, or well, Blackram313 already said this, or this brother already said this video. You know what I'm saying? And what people don't realize is that when I make my videos, for example, I try not to quote unquote bite another brother. You know what I'm saying? Topic. However, with some of us brothers that we talk about these certain topics, okay, a lot of us are tuned into the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? And so when it sounds like, okay, Black Ram made a video called Why I No Longer Talk to Women in January of 2014. Solo makes a video called 5 Reasons Why I Do Not Approach Black Women at Night in February of 2014. It's because, you know, some of us are realizing certain things, or you may have said something in the video that sparked something in my brain to do so. You feel me? And people don't realize it. And I mentioned this to another brother named LAR Movement, who made a video called Reasons Why Black Men Don't Approach Black Women. And sometimes I see a video that another brother makes, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to steal what the brother's doing, but I'm simply letting y'all know my experiences to corroborate what you're saying. Or I'm doing something chess. And Ram, one of the things that, and listen, I'm gonna keep it real. Another reason why, and I've said this before in some of my videos, why I like to make videos is because sometimes I like to see what people say in the comments. I like to see how people respond. And your comment section is live too. And one thing I've noticed sometimes reading, because sometimes with your videos, you know, I listen to your videos, and while you're talking, I'm reading the comments at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I always read about your comments is that you hate women or you are bitter. Yes. And I get the same thing. And some people, I remember this one comment I read in your video, brother, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was from a Black woman. She says that you're an intelligent man. She gave you a compliment, or backhanded compliment. You're an intelligent man, but you've been hurt a lot, and I hope that you get some healing. You feel it? And it makes me laugh because, you know, women can't, even if a woman knows it's the truth, they still got to put that little zinger in there. You know what I'm saying? Right. To let you know. And one of the things that I'm learning as I'm getting older, you know, being that I just turned 30 literally a year or two ago, is that I've become much more happier, more confident, more productive, more disciplined, more focused once I stopped trying to gain the approval of women.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And my question to you is, we live in a society that if you don't have, once again, I'm going to be vulgar, quote unquote, a bad bitch on your arm, if you don't have 5 chicks on your team, if the woman you're with is not a 10, if she's a 6 or 5, she's whack. If you don't have a woman, then something is wrong with you. You're either gay, you're whack, you're lame or square. Okay. Now here's something, Ram, that I wanted to talk to you about. The women that used to diss me back in the day for being a good brother who was going to college or working a job, trying to make ends meet. I used to work 2 jobs, man. 1 full-time job and then 1 at a grocery store. Told you before. These women said, yeah, he's nice, but he's not good enough. Just to find that the same women 5 years later were checking for me. All of a sudden, I wasn't lame anymore because women, and this is a true story. One woman, I can't make this shit up, man. Used to be a good-looking woman, and then, you know, she had a couple kids. Fast forward, all of a sudden when she's overweight and sloppy, she has 3 kids now. The man living in our house is a felon who basically just got out of jail, sleeping on her couch. So what he did to ensure that he will not be, that him and the woman will have ties, he got her pregnant real quick. And you hear stories like this all the time. You know what I'm saying? And then the point I'm trying to make is, and I know I'm all over the place, is that in something you said earlier, when women are young, they want the bad boy. They want that thug dick, that excitement. But then when they get a little bit older, more mature, or they start to wake up and realize that that thug nigga or that bad boy can't do shit for them as a woman, like you or myself, reality hits these women like a fucking bus hits a random person walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? What is your thoughts on that hypergamy, that classic concept about women who chase the bad boy in their youth, get pregnant by him, and then when they get older, that's when they look for the guy they dissed back in the day who they deemed lame or square?
Definitely. You have made a couple of points I just want to address first, and I'm going to address them in order that you asked them. You mentioned about us men being on the same wavelength, and some people think that, oh, you're buying somebody else's material. I've been accused of that as well. And I think that those commenters are very immature males or females. Here's the thing. This is a community, and we're doing this because we have love for the brotherhood. So we're sharing. So it doesn't just belong to Black Ram. It don't just belong to Solo. If you have a video topic, well, then guess what? Most of the time, you're adding your perspective. I'm adding my perspective. Now, here's the thing. You get a great picture when you put all of these perspectives together. And then some people in their channels and in their videos can reach people that others can't, and vice versa. So a person may not like Black Ram, but a person may want or like Solo's presentation. So you can absorb the information from Solo TV 84, or you can be the type Ram and Solo together. And now you have a bigger picture. And I think that as men, we need to stop thinking that we have to compete against one another and be catty, because it's all for the same benefit. We're still eating out of the same pot and trying to reach the same goal. That's what brotherhood is. So there's no hierarchy in this. This is not you biting me, I'm biting you. No. This is for the benefit of the listeners. So they should take it as, okay, this is a community and we talk about the same subjects. I mean, there's probably 1,000 videos on single Black motherhood. But I guarantee you, listen to those videos, it may be minuscule, but you'll find something deep, but at the same time different from each video, although we're saying the same thing. So I think those men who come on and try to shame us for having some of the same content, I don't think they understand the value of the information that's being presented, and that's to their detriment, and it's actually their loss. Now, you talked about women's classic shaming language about, oh, I must be bitter. So here go pretty much the 3 things I wanted to say. A, you're gay. B, somebody hurt you and see your mama black too. All of this has nothing to do with the subject matter. This is why I don't argue or talk to women. Women come in my comment section all the time. But within the last year or so, unless you're saying something positive, I'm not going to respond, because why would I argue with an inferior being? So let's address the whole idea of bitterness. Why not be bitter? Let's address the idea of hating women. Why not? So here's the thing. I don't hate women. I hate whores. And what I expect.
Wait. Can you say that again?
To change her behavior. So I don't hate women. I hate whores. But here's the thing. Most women are whores, though. Now, here's the thing. Solo. If somebody came to you and said, you know, these black men ain't no good, they can't pull their pants up, they're out here doing drive-by shootings and all this dysfunctional shit, they need to change, would you be offended, Solo?
Not necessarily, no.
So you wouldn't be offended when somebody point out the dysfunction of some black males in the community, because you're not that particular black male that's causing this dysfunction. You're separating yourself from the men who are savages, and there are savage men in our society, we know this, but you are not Pookie Ray Ray, the drug dealer, who's poisoning his community and causing destruction. So when somebody condemns him or calls him out on his shit, you're not offended, right? But how is it that a woman, when you talk about whores, how is every woman offended? The reason why is because she's a whore as well. Now, here goes the difference between love and hate. I'm telling the whores they need to change. So only a hit dog is going to yell or bark. So anytime you're talking about how women are whores, why are all women offended? Because they can identify with the whoredom, and they don't want to realize or recognize their own misguided, short-sighted, destructive behavior. So that's why they come in the comment section talking about somebody being bitter and angry and never addressing the issue of whoredom. That women very rarely, if at all, correct themselves, because they're not looking for correction, they're always looking for validation. And we're not going to give that to them. And then you mentioned about female approval. I mentioned in one of my videos that a lion does not care about the gazelle's approval. The lion is the king of the jungle. The lion can snap the gazelle's neck. Doesn't need its approval, doesn't care about its opinions. I truly believe, and I'm going to show this, I truly believe that the male is superior to the female. So I don't need myself personally, and I want men to internalize this, I don't need female validation. What I need from a female is her obedience and her submission. Men validate. The king, if you really are a man, your thinking should be so superior that validation from anyone is unnecessary. I care not about guys coming to my comment section saying the shit they say. I ignore men too. I just don't give a shit, because my life is someone else happy. It's not about somebody else telling me, oh, I'm good or I'm bad. I don't for subscribers, or I got out here because I had a message that I wanted to give away, and for those who can receive it, fine, and those who can't, I simply couldn't give a shit. And that's, you know, you have to kind of have a mentality of somewhat of a gangster, so to speak, and let this shit just roll off you.
That's right.
But I can't help but to feel, and maybe this is arrogant, but unless you got a valid argument, especially for the female, you ain't got nothing to say. Most women are unintelligent. Have you ever heard a woman come with a valid argument about anything that we say in this community? Never. And you never will.
Wait, actually I have, the ones that agree with me.
Exactly. Exactly. And the last thing you mentioned is about the woman who has squandered her life, opened her vagina to various thug men. You know, I'm scared of a woman who fucked a lot of thugs. You know, these gangsters don't go to the doctor. So that shit scares me. If I see a picture of a woman, her ex-boyfriend, and he a thug, I'm immediately turned off, because I know that pussy should be, or most likely is rotten. Anyway, the woman who squandered herself and given herself away so freely to the gangsters and the thugs, and now she wants a good guy. And of course, that's, especially with black women, that's what they do. They give their best years to the thug, and then when they're less valuable, when their sexual market value is decreased, they want to charge a premium for what they have left, which I think is amazing. You take a car that has 250,000 miles on it, that's 15 years old, and you want to charge more for that car than a brand new one. What a hell of a deal. But here's the thing, this is the reality that we live in. We can talk all day about what we don't want. The truth is, Solo, when we meet these women, most of the time they are single mothers, they are used. Now, I would recommend that men don't wife up single mothers. Yeah, fuck up, pump and dump, whatever you want to do. I would recommend that they don't wife them up. But the fact is, most of the time when you get a woman, if she's over 25, she's going to have some knowledge on her. So how do we make this situation right? I believe you make this situation right by making her pay. And it may sound crazy, making her pay for her past mistakes, but listen to this, right? If a woman is coming to you and she has all of this baggage, and you are a king, she needs to prove herself to you. How does she prove herself? By showing you how much she values you, by showing you how eager she is to get with you. And then don't place her in a position of wifey. No. Place her in another position as your servant. Well, and we know a wife is a servant as well, but don't promote this woman to a high status when she's going to always be a low status whore. Tell you what I mean. If she squandered herself and got 2-3 kids by a guy, yeah, you can still hang out with her, but just don't wife her up. And when you hang out, let it be on her dime. Just think about this for a minute. So, a woman got all of this shit going on. She should be courting you. She should be coming after you. And if she ain't doing that, you meet her, out with her, don't take her seriously, but the ball should be in her court. If she really want to spend more time with you, make her earn that time with you. Make her work for it. And if she can't do that, then she ain't worth it. Because at the end of the day, guess what, Solo? If you wasn't having sex with her, you wouldn't want her. If she told you that her vagina was sewn shut, as well as her booty hole, and she got razor teeth, you wouldn't want her. So all she really got is what's between her legs. And what she got between her legs is used. So she got to come with something else. She need to come over your house to cook. She need to come over your house to clean. She need to put in that work. And if she ain't doing that, then she doesn't get your validation. Because here's what I found out. A woman needs your validation way more than you could ever need hers.
That's powerful. It's powerful.
And let me say this one more thing, because guess what? Outside the male, a woman really doesn't have any identity. She doesn't build institutions. She doesn't create wealth on her own. She doesn't build societies. All she can do is pump out a child and open up her legs. So without you giving her that validation, that's what romance is about. Romance is about giving a female validation. And if you're not giving that to her, she's empty. It's just so happens that the whole society validates her without her doing anything, so she thinks she's on top of the world. But if the world changed overnight and women had to earn their validation, you would see a whole different thing. She needs you because you are superior. You're greater than she. You were created first. Now she has to stay in her place. And the only reason why I can say a man is greater than the female is because she wants to compete with you, but she can't. You're greater than her, and always will be. So yeah, that's that.
Damn, Ram, you just dropped some jewels right there, fam. Real talk. All right. Now, Ram, I want to touch on something you said previously before I get on to the next question, but I got to touch on this. And I know you and we spoke about this before. You said, and once again, I'm going to give you something that I do. You said something that a woman has to prove herself, right? Mm-hmm. One thing that I do is I like to call what they used to call in the game qualifying or screening. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Where you assess a woman's pros and cons, and then you make her work for it. For instance, this is a true story. I had a woman the other day take me out to eat, and she paid for it. Now, mind you, I'm not going to lie and say this is how it's always been. I've paid before, but this woman and any woman that deals with me knows that if you want to see me again, you're going to have to treat me as well. That's just how it goes. And women know that because I'm not the type of dude that on some TI shit, you can have whatever you like. I'm going to take you out, Patron. No. Women have to show me that, hey, you show me a good time. So she took me out to this nice restaurant called Hell's Kitchen in Minneapolis. It's a nice restaurant. And yes, I'm name dropping just so the haters know what it is. But here's the thing, Ram. The point I'm trying to make with this is that a lot of men will say, well, Ram, I don't have it like that. I mean, I'm chasing after this gorgeous girl, and she doesn't have to prove herself to me because there are 10 other men who could replace me easily. And we live, and you've mentioned this before, that the simping is at an all-time high now, where men are chasing after females that are not worthy to be chased in the first place. But the thirst, is real. I mean, the thirst is realer than a motherfucker. And one thing, I told you this earlier, to me, is once I hit 30, it's like a switch hit, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden it's like God intervened in my life. And I'm not trying to take this to another direction, but I asked God, please show me who my real friends are. All of a sudden, these friendships I've had, some of them I've had for 10, 15, 20 years, started to erode. And they weren't really friendships because my eyes were starting to open. And I went through what I call a rejuvenation, where I started then to focus on me. I didn't focus on females. And I got into shape, and I started to travel to explore who I am. You know what I'm saying? And the point I'm trying to make, I know I'm long-winded, but you spark you spark something in me, is that there's a man right now who's arguing that, well, Black Ram, I don't have it like that. And this is the point that you and I are trying to make, is stop trying to chase after women that do not deserve your attention. Because if she has 50 dicks on her phone on standby and you're not number one, or she's not willing to make that sacrifice, then she's not worth your time.
So this is where good game comes in.
Right.
As we used to say in the hood, good G, a mouthpiece. And it goes further than a mouthpiece. It's about your whole attitude and demeanor. So here goes some game, right?
Right.
You meet a chick, she bad, she pretty, she sexy. Okay, cool. Right? She has a bunch of men who's her suitors. So there is naturally a competition. But you put your foot forward. You trying to get at her, you trying to get her to go out with you, and so on and so forth. So she goes on a date with you or whatever. And let's say she starts playing hard to get. And this also goes for if it, lasts a little longer and y'all into. So here go the game. Women want that which retreats from them. They're like cats, right? If you go and try to rub the cat's gonna go away from you. If you ignore the cat is gonna come to you. So in the beginning, I like to play it like this. I take 2 steps toward a woman and then 4 steps backwards. So they call it in certain circles push and pull. So when you meet a female, it's gonna be ball in your court, right? But you get her, you run game on her, you entice her, and then you retreat. You show that you are a gentleman, you show that you're intelligent, you show that you are a leader, you show that you are strong, and then retreat. And guess what? If she don't come toward you, then that's just one that you gotta chop it up to the game and write it off. It's just simple game. And here go the value in that. By doing that, you're setting the tone, and the tone has to be set early when dealing with these females. So the biggest thing for the male to do when he's dealing with a female is to be indifferent, because it's indifference. This is what I mean. When you meet a woman, don't have expectations. Be desireless. It was a movie called The Tao of Steve that talked about that, but it's real game. Be desireless. Don't have any expectations. Don't set it up in your mind that this woman is, don't even think about her beauty. Don't even compliment her on her beauty. Set it up in your mind that this is just an interaction, that you have nothing to gain or nothing to lose. Be neutral. Now, I know this is hard to do. This takes practice and internalizing. But through practice, we can do this. So for the bad female that you really want, this is what you got to do. It may sound counterintuitive. You got to not want her. If you want to get her, you can't want her. If you want to keep her, you can't want her. If you want to get her, you can't chase her. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just the game. So that sets yourself apart from the 10 men that suited her. So it's like this. You got 10 men giving her attention, and you're the only one that isn't. Guess what she's going to focus on? Why is this guy not giving me attention? Let me look at him. What is it about him? What does he see in me that these other guys, why is he not looking at me like this? What's different about him? And that sets yourself apart. And it's a numbers game. So even if she doesn't respond to that, go on to the next one. Then go on to the next one. Another thing about our channels is this is about men winning.
Right.
Winning in life and winning in relationship. So that's a good game. You start off by, pushing toward the female, but you have to pull back. I used to say this to myself in my head. I used to talk to myself because I didn't have other guys to really bounce the game off of. Remember, you kind of young, Solo, but Jordan had this move that he developed. After his legs started getting a little weaker, he used to be a dunking motherfucker, take you to the whole type of guy. Then he turned around and made a move that was offensive as well as defensive. It was called the fadeaway jumper. I don't think he invented it, but he kind of perfected it.
Yeah.
So in the fadeaway, you're making the shot, but you're defending the shot at the same time. So what I do with a woman, I push at her. I'm spitting game. I'm crispy with it. I'm sharp with the mouthpiece. I'm sharp with the look. And then I'm going to fade. And I used to say this, the game is won in the fade. So I fade away. I leave the scene. Now she gonna come check for me. Now here go the thing, Solo. Once she come checking for you, it used to be ball in her court. Once she come checking for you, now ball in your court. Now she's the pursuer. So this is game, right? You pursue her, but then you come to one that is pursued. And if that's not how she wants to play it, then you go to the next one then. Because guess what? There's a million bad bitches. Millions of bad bitches. So that's how we play it. It's just good game. So we mix in good game with true manhood and masculinity and knowledge of all things, knowledge of the Most High, the Creator, with knowledge and wisdom of economics, knowledge of the game, female nature. We trying to do it all. We do it all here. And this is why the information we have is valuable. Men should really take heed and not say, okay, well, Solo this or Blackram. No, it's not about Blackram and Solo. It's about empowering the guys who are listening to us. It's about you, gentlemen.
Right.
We do this because we love the brotherhood. It's about you. We want you to win as men.
Right. Right. All right, Rap. So there's one thing that I want to mention real quick. I know you're busy, so to wrap this video up, one thing that I talk a lot about in my videos is self-improvement. And I'm not perfect. I don't try to act like I'm holier than thou, because I'm not. I'm a man, but I recognize my worth and whatnot. And one thing I talk about right now for me is the struggle to lose the weight that I put back on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm open about it because I always say in my videos, I'm not a guru. I'm not an authority figure. I'm not you know what I'm saying, a maestro. I'm just who I am. And I think a lot of people appreciate that. And we all, in this journey that we call life, which is a very short and brief journey, brother, because a lot of us don't have a lot of years here. So, but one thing I realize is time is short. And for me personally, I've had brothers email me saying that some of my videos have inspired them through tough times. And honestly, I'm not trying to gas myself, but I'm like, look, I'm just some random dude from Minnesota. I'm not, I just made videos because I was trying to make sense of a world that was not making any sense. You know what I'm saying? And my question to you is, where do we go from here as black men? What does the future hold for us as men? Not just black men. What do you see happening in the with the election, with where the world is right now spiritually? Where do you see the world going?
That's an excellent question. I am a spiritual man, and don't care who don't like it. But I believe that the world that we living in is shortly and coming to its demise, whether it be the impending mathematical certainty that the U.S. economy will be collapsing, whether it's the certainty that we will experience a major geological event, whether it's the Juan de Fuca or San Andreas or the New Madrid Fault, whether it be from something else like World War III. We have right now Russia and the U.S. with tight tensions. There's troops building up NATO on the borders of Russia. We have the Chinese building a base in the South China Sea with, and also our buzzing United States warships in the region. We have Iran and we have North Korea. We have all these things going. And as black men, we need to start having an international mindset. That we need to pull our minds, out of the asses of women and our own communities and think bigger, because there's a larger picture. So what we should be doing, where my heart is that we as black men literally and physically need to develop our own. Not a leader, not a movement, but something as simple as, guess what, so you have a full-time job? Next black man have a full-time job? How about we dedicate $100 a month to a community, whether it be abroad in another country or somewhere in America, and we're going to build a community there, a haven for ourselves to go in a time of trouble or time of need. See, we need to actually experience and start expressing black male unity in some shape or form. And here's the thing, Solo. Everybody who's listening to you and listening to me, they have some form of consciousness that the rest of our society and our community don't have. Well, we are the men that's supposed to build. So we're facing a world where very soon money will be somewhat worthless. What the land you have and being able to provide food will be of the utmost importance. And we can see this. We can see the economy going down the drain. So to be aware is to be alive. We need to realize what's happening. Yes, we're going to talk about male and female relations. Yeah, we're going to talk about economics. Yeah, we're going to talk about manhood. But there are other things that we need to focus on. So the future should be at a ground level. Nothing spectacular. I'm not talking about being Jesse Jackson, Louis Farrakhan, and Al Sharpton, or some religious organization. Something as simple as acquiring land to build on, whether it's a tiny house, an earthship, something that we can call our own and have a refuge. Because think about it. If you don't have land and resources, you have nothing. We need to start thinking like somewhat like a nation, at least on a ground level, like a nation, and have some sort of identity outside of you going to work every day and empowering whatever agency, the executives there, or whatever corporation you work for. We need to think of something outside of that. And that would be improvement. So we're trying to improve men mentally through our videos, spiritually. As you talk about, you mentioned working out. All this is a part of it. And for the future, listen, here it is, Solo. If we don't take this small opportunity we got left to change and build something, we will die. We are at critical mass. The world is changing all around us, and we cannot afford to stay asleep. So what I'm doing personally, I'm saving up the money, and I'm trying to get out of Dodge and develop some land. And that's what we need to start thinking about, not money, cars, clothes, and homes. We can talk about that all day. When men come together, so we know we talk about, this is what men do. Men, we come together, we discuss business and women. And that's natural, we should. But let's be more about business first. Then we can discuss the women. So we have this slight opportunity and chance to really do something. And I realize I have to be a doer, not a talker. So I'm looking into buying some land. I'm looking into buying some property. And I just hope that brothers join me. Even if you say, you know what, there's a house somewhere in Tennessee or Georgia or some land that you can acquire for $10,000, just do it. You don't even have to be a part of a community. We just have to start. We just have to do something different. And we can't wait on others to do it. And that's brotherhood. And that's what it's about. That's what Ibmore is about. It's about brotherhood. and build it. And it don't take millions of dollars, some charismatic personality to do so. So that's the future. Our future is that if we don't start to develop something and do something, we will die. It's critical. And I tried to do a few videos here and there expressing that, but it is critical now. Because the black man, like never before, we're experiencing all kinds of things. We always have, and we've always endured. But now it's time to put the pedal to the metal and really start to construct some things. So I hope the guys that's listening to us and the guys that listen to your channel, my channel, and start to build.
All right. Now, Ram, before we end this, do you have any last comment, thoughts, or any issues that you want to bring up? Maybe something you wanted to talk about, or something you saw recently, or anything you want to mention today?
I just want to say, man, that you have an excellent channel, and YouTube for both of us is therapy. I see the work that you're doing. Although you are just a man from Minnesota, I'm just a man for Chicago. Your voice is needed, and with your channel, whatever direction you want to take it in, be solid in that, because your intentions are pure and genuine. You want to help others as well as help yourself, and nothing is more noble than giving to your fellow man. So I commend you on the work that you're doing over at Solo TV 84. I appreciate your videos. I appreciate your channel. I appreciate your perspective. And you're an example of how black men should be. I've watched you evolve over the last couple of years of watching your channel. I've seen the maturity and the growth and the development. And I think it is a beautiful thing. And I think that you inspire men. You inspire me as well. And I just want to say, Solo, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you, Rap. And, you know, the same goes out to you. I mean, like I said, you've been an inspiration to me as well. You know, when I heard your videos, I was like, man, this brother says the things that I want to say, but he says it concise, where I tend to ramble on sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I think that it's good to know that one thing that I wanted, that I've mentioned before, is good to know that we have brothers like you and me that are representing not just, you know, brothers and men in general, but also the Midwest. We have a voice out here in the Midwest, and we also are going through the struggle. A lot of people, you know, a lot of YouTubers are from the East Coast or the West Coast, right? But the struggle in the Midwest for the us is real as well. And I think that that's one of the reasons I started to make videos, because I never heard a lot of brothers talk about the Midwest and up north. And seeing your videos as well is just like, man, like, you know, you say some of the things I want to say sometimes, but I know if I say it, they'll flag a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they will. They will flag, and I've been flagged many times before. And the only reason why I stay on is because the brother said, hey, you know what, your voice is needed. So since they called on me, then I decided to show up, and I thought it would be selfish of me to leave. Now, I don't make videos very often, but when I can, I try to put my thoughts and my ideas out there. And men have told me that they, you know, they receive some sort of inspiration. I don't think of myself as any guru or anything special as well. But if the brothers say, hey, we need your voice, then I hope to comply, and hopefully I can give brothers something that would empower them in some way, shape, or form. And my benefit, you know, my payback is just seeing the brothers strengthen. You have to love your brother, and I do. I love all the men who come to my channel and subscribe to me. And man, it's so many names and so many guys out there, but I see their comments. I know they're there, and I feel like we all together in this. And I want to see the best for them.
And I appreciate you and Blackram313. I hope that you will come back, you know, to do, you know, I don't want to call this an interview. This is what I call synergy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We just having a conversation. You say yours. And, you know, like I said, I had to play devil's advocate for some things, because, you know, when I make a video, and I know you do too, sometimes you realize, well, this is what these haters are going to say. And you just put that in the video, not because you care, but you want to let people know, answer questions about you know, let them know that, okay, this is what the opposition says, and so we must be prepared to what they're gonna say, you know. But I hope that you come back on, and I appreciate you, brother. I really do, man. I really do.
Likewise, anytime, Solo, anytime, man. We can do this problem. It's been my pleasure to do so, bro.
All right, so everybody check out Black Ram. I got the link throughout the video. Also check out his channel on the description box. Please subscribe, please share. It's Solo TV 84, Blackram313, out.
Out.